Hey, what's going on, everybody? James here, your Abx-Audiophile. I hope you are having a fantastic day. It has been a while since we talked about open baffles, and we have made a lot of progress with what you see right here. And if you watched my review earlier on the how to build the ABX Dolce Audio open baffle speaker, make sure you go check out that video first. It kind of shows you the bare bones, how to build, how to construct. We kind of walk you all through the steps on how to build a beautiful, beautiful open back speaker that will easily rival all of the commercial open baffles that you see on the market. $10,000 a pair and under. These things will push right up to them, and they are absolutely fantastic. We have probably around 10 individuals around the world building these right now. We have some individuals in Austria, we have some individuals in India, we have individuals all over the place building these baffles now, raving about them. We've got members in our Discord who built these and put some really, really high-end speakers in the corner, $12,000, $15,000 a pair speakers, and I am not exaggerating. Quotes like, yeah, they're just sitting in the corner now, and we're rocking out these baffles. So if you kind of want to hear about these baffles, what upgrades we've made to them, what our progress is, what we're looking forward to, what we're going to be doing coming up, this video is for you. If you have not watched our baffle reviews or know what we got going on here, make sure you step back a couple videos. I'll link the descriptions in the, I'll put the links in the description, and make sure you guys go check that out. But today, we are going to talk about the ABX Dolce Audio Baffle. I'm going to show you guys some of the people's builds, and we're going to talk about kind of what's going on there. And let's just have a good time and see where we're at. Appreciate y'all being here. All right, so first off, I want to jump to the other screen here, and let me bring this up. And I want to show you guys some of these other individuals who are building these baffles and kind of what we're really doing within our community. And you can come be a part of it too, if you'd like to. So we're going to jump over here to scene 2. So this is just one example of one of our members who are building these ABX LDA baffles. And I just want to kind of start off right off the rip just saying that I do not sell these baffles. I do not sell any of the parts to the baffles. I do not make any money from the sale of these baffles. This project was strictly something that we were doing in our group. And kind of started out with the template, which are the baffles that you see here next to me. So you can see here we've got a member's baffles. Really nice woodwork here. This individual decided to go with solid wood. You can see we've got a vertical slot to load that 18-inch bass driver down there. Again, with a kind of a standard round hole for the 15-inch Dolce Audio coaxial driver that we put the horn tweeter on, the compression tweeter on the back of. Really nice woodwork here. Very nice broad base. Looks really stable. You can see we've got the nice bevel and the flaring going on the driver openings, as well as the 15-inch vertical slot. If you notice mine's kind of horizontal. So there's one example of somebody that's building one. Here's a fantastic set that somebody built. Actually kind of like a tiger stripe look, and then they stained it, and the contrast between the stain and the striping is just awesome. I mean, look at some of these patterns here. And they went for a full driver opening here with a flare. And then you can see this 18-inch Dolce Audio bass driver. This thing is absolutely phenomenal. Kind of a slot loading here, if you will. And if you'll notice, a lot of these are kind of the same square inches. It's kind of the same amount of opening, percentage of driver per opening. So if you consolidate all the mathematics, it would be kind of the same area, surface area, if you will. So we've got 2 slots kind of on each side. Really cool, interesting look. Let's see, who else? What do we got here? Let's zoom in on this guy. Oh, this is a beautiful set. Again, kind of taking that slot loading, that radius ring around the 18-inch driver. You can see on the, here, on the coaxial driver up top, you can see there's no dust cap, so this is the Dolce Audio one, and then it has that compression horn tweeter screwed onto the back of it, and I'll show you guys some of those later and kind of what we're doing with that now, or what Dolce Audio is doing with that now. You can see that there's a little bit smaller of a hole, so we're slot loading or loading both drivers in this case, which kind of gives you a little bit of a better focus. pushes back, increases sensitivity, and kind of changes how that speaker measures. So you can mess around with the different sizes of those slot loadings for both the 15-inch coaxial up top and your bass driver. So just in changing the dimensions and the shape and the square, inches of how big those holes are and where they're located, you can completely change how the speaker acts, which is really, really great. Just a super versatile. Here's kind of a picture of the same one. Again, just a lot of these individuals. This is one that Terry did. This was one of the first ones. Now you notice he's using a little bit different slot loading pattern. And he's getting these things to dig down really deep. We were using the Harmony Audio 15-inch or 18-inch bass driver before. Dolce Audio kind of came up with this new model, way better spider, way better structure, digs a little bit deeper, sounds a lot cleaner than the Harmony. That's the one I'm using now. I'll show you guys that. Here's Terry's setup. This is kind of the brains behind this whole thing. Terry's the owner of Dolce Audio. And he's kind of been guiding us along this crazy adventure that we're all on and doing our thing in open baffles. You can see that he's got I think that's about a 10-inch hole, maybe a little bit bigger on that upper 15-inch coaxial driver. Again, you can see the no dust cap there. You can see right through to the compression horn tweeter. Intentional on La Dolce Audio's part. And then he's got a really interesting slot loading going on the 18-inch bass driver. And I think he got his to dig down to like 28 hertz. So, for those of you who say that open baffles don't have bass, please come sit in my room and I will show you what open baffle bass sounds like. It is absolutely insane, floor rumbling. So here is an interesting thing, and this is kind of the space we're moving towards a little bit now. We're starting to, now that we've got essentially the template baffle done, which is the one that you see here to my left, we're moving into a space, okay, how can we take this to the next level? Let's start looking at higher quality tweeters. Let's start looking at horns. Let's really kind of start implementing this thing and seeing, whereas in the beginning we were talking about let's build the cheapest baffle that we can and get the massive, largest bang for buck possible. Let's see how far we can punch up into the open baffle retail space. And I think we hit 10K at least. So now we're kind of starting to reinvent things a little bit. We're messing around with some different horn configurations. So you can see Tom's here at this point, and these are beautiful baffles. Look how he built his. He's got them kind of segmented up so he could load baffles into these panels here and kind of swap them out as needed. Beautiful, beautiful system and room. This is probably one of my favorite pictures. And if you look to the sides there, he's got the Klipsch Forte 4s. Kind of moved out of the way. And I will say that I've got my Klipsch Forte 2s, heavily modified, beautiful speaker. Those things are put away. I will not be going back to those Fortes after moving through these baffles. So you can see Tom's here kind of experimenting. At this point, he had not implemented the 18-inch bass driver yet, but beautiful, beautiful stuff. Here is that same room. So you can see he switched panels. If we go back to his previous photo, right? So he took the horn panel off, bada bing. Now he's slot loading this upper driver here. This is the Dolce. We can see because we see the no dust cover there. And again, he is using a little bit different configuration, spokes, if you will. I always think these kind of look like wheels on a car. So some people have more spokes or less spokes, but you can kind of see that going on there. And man, what a beautiful system. Nice tube amplifier, running some really good stuff. Super, super cool. Nice bracing on the back. These things are really just, here's the mad scientist Terry again. Now, if you look at this one, we're kind of getting into a space here where Terry's starting to kind of experiment with some horns and different crossover configurations. You can see right here, this is the brand new La Dolce Audio 15-inch coaxial driver. We've got the phase shims here. We're kind of experimenting with some different members on how these things look and what they're made of. And so we've got about 3 or 4 different configurations there. If you look at the original ones on my review, it was just a piece of wood. But the thought there is that we're moving the diaphragm of that compression horn tweeter in its relation to the 15-inch driver and kind of messing with that phase a little bit. And so, that's just kind of a DIY thing. But also you can see here, and I'll get more in depth, the brand new La Dolce Audio ASD 1001 naked back tweeter, and this thing is absolutely phenomenal, and I'll tell you guys why here in a minute. So here you can see Terry's baffles. He actually added some wings to it to kind of really get that bass to drop down a little bit more. And I can't remember what he said he had these digging down to, but it was way down there. All this stuff takes place every day on our Discord. Okay, here's that one tiger stripe set kind of before that they put the 18-inch in. Here's another, remember, look at this. Look at these beautiful speakers. Let's zoom in onto these guys. Look at this. We just posted this one today. Gentleman, Dan, I believe, is making these. I might have that name wrong. Don't hold me to it. Dan is making these beautiful baffles. And look at that woodwork, man. Look at this router line he's got up in here. All these really nice rolled over edges, beautiful framing on the back. Again, using this slot loading. And the reason everybody went to this over kind of what you see mine, the horizontal or the vertical slot, is I think that they got a little bit better measurement. I think Terry was kind of measuring some things and trying to get the QSs down and get the sensitivity right and see how far, you know, we could get that thing to dig. And I think we kind of started to find out that this configuration of this slot loading kind of leaving that center puck, if you will, in place in that lower hole for the 18-inch bass driver. Everybody kind of started going in that direction. So a lot of them, you're going to see this 10-inch hole now, slot loading or loading that 15-inch coaxial, and then you'll see this configuration of loading on the bass driver. So this is kind of where we've moved to as far as that original form of that baffle. Here's one. God, look at this beautiful system. This was one of the ones that I was talking about. You know, we're putting together we're putting aside some really expensive speakers. So if you look to the side there, you'll see what speakers that were there before. And the quote from this gentleman was, and look at these speakers he made. I mean, this is all solid wood. We saw these earlier. We've got the vertical slot, which is just 90 degrees out from what I do on the 18-inch bass driver. We've got a tighter 10-inch hole or 12-inch hole on that coaxial up top. Again, look at this beautiful gear, man. I mean, this is some high-end gear. And I won't say the name of those speakers that are sitting over there or how much they cost, but the quote from this individual was, "Those are going in the corner now, and these baffles better them on every level." So, I mean, that's a huge statement just in itself. So this isn't even me anymore, like telling this stuff to you guys. This is, you know, real people who are building these baffles and doing this work. There you can see kind of prior, you know, before staining and stuff. But here's another one where we're kind of moving into starting to experimenting with horns. And we're at this point, La Dolce Audio is really just kind of experimenting with some different formats, some different sizes and shapes of the horns. Experimenting with different drivers on the back of them, but you can see again, you know, the smaller 10-inch hole on the 15-inch, and then using that type of loading on the drivers. Just some beautiful, beautiful stuff. So we got a lot of people. Oh, this one, Mark built this set. Look at this set, man. This guy is a CNC machine master. He builds insanely intricate stuff for a living, and he said, "Nah, I can't just build a plank of plywood, guys. Come on, man. I got to step this up and do something super fancy." And look at this thing. He did, man. This thing is absolutely nuts. All of the same components. You can see the La Dolce Audio 15-inch coaxial driver here. You can see this phase shim that Mark actually developed, 3D printed. We've got a few of those floating around to the group that we're trying out. You can see the La Dolce Audio naked back ASD or LDA 1001. He's still running the Harmony bass driver at this point. He hadn't got his LDA 18 drivers yet. But look at this. Look at this backbone here, suspended front baffle. It doesn't touch the floor. You can see down here it's kind of off of the ground a little bit. He built this beautiful framework for the back. I mean, this thing just turned out absolutely stunning. Here's some kind of early versions prior to really getting into, you know, the bass driver and stuff. But we've got oh, and here's mine. So here's basically what I'm running today. And I kind of wanted to go through some of these photos just to show you that You know, we are putting a multitude of gear onto these open baffles, and we are playing literally every genre of music. This is the XPA DR2. It's like a $2,000 fully differential class ABH amplifier from Emotiva. We've got the Eversolo and the Denafrips Aries 2. You put some solid state amplification on this thing, and these drivers just bam! It is just insane. If you haven't watched my review on the Emotiva DR2, go check it out, man. That is an awesome pairing. That dampening factor just takes those baffles. I mean, the bass out of those baffles with that amplifier was literally knocking stuff off of my walls. I was sitting on my couch listening to music just through the Eversolo Denafrips to the Emotiva, and the whole floor was vibrating. I could feel it punching in my chest. It's insane, man. I go to on social media all the time. I see these guys talking about, oh yeah, open baffles don't make no bass. Like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. And then everything from solid state, you saw the Emotiva, all the way right here. You can see we've got the PrimaLuna DiaLouge Premium on it. So we're throwing some 40-watt tube amplification on it. We're throwing vinyl on it. You know, we're just doing everything. But you can see I went with the horizontal slot load. This is the original design. If you go to our website, abx-audiophiles.org, I've got the entire rundown on this thing. Let's just click through this stuff really good. Oh yeah, I just discovered Rune, so I'm all into Rune right now. This was actually today. We are auditioning the Orchard Audio Star Crimson Duo amplifiers and the Pecan Pi streamer DACs. Phenomenal Class D GAN amps. I mean, if you have ever heard anybody say that Class D cannot do audiophile grade, you got to go check out Orchard Audio, man. This amplifier, his products, Leo over there at Orchard Audio, will blow your mind with these Class Ds that he's putting out right now. So, insane imaging. But anyway, I'm still rocking them. Okay, here it is. This is the back. Let's see if we can zoom in and do some of this for you. So here is that new Dolce Audio LDA1001 available on their website. They're not super expensive considering the price of $10,000, $12,000 open baffles. You could build this whole thing for, you know, under $1,500. That is the new Dolce Audio 15-inch coaxial driver. Look at this cast frame. I mean, this thing is absolutely stunning. And here is Terry's custom tweeter. It's got an open back, so it's a rear firing array. So you really get this ambiance and this high-end treble that gets pushed out into the soundstage. Man, it just really makes imaging just magical. We're still rocking that same crossover components that we started with. This is all Jansen. I think there's about $450 into building both of these. I think it's like $220 or something to get the two chokes. I am running a 10 millihenry choke for the bass driver. I am running a 2.2 millihenry choke for the 15-inch coaxial and a 3.3 microfarad cap for the tweeter. And you can see the L pad there, so you can adjust just that LDA tweeter. Here's the brand new, look at this thing, Jiminy Christmas. When I went from the Harmony driver to this Dolce Audio bass driver, this is an 18-inch woofer, and this thing, I think the whole thing, when you put everything together, it's coming in at like 96 dB sensitive. This thing will rip your face off with bass. If you build your baffle like I built mine, and you set them up in a decent sized room like that, and you get them cranking, man, that bass will punch you in your face and stuff will knock off the counters. Absolutely, but super simple. I mean, all it is really is just running, you know, from the choke down to the speaker lug. I mean, everything's just single order. Really, really cool. Here's kind of another view of it. You can see it really close up here. He gets in here, and this is fully custom. He does all of this work himself, exposes that rear diaphragm. It is just a special tweeter. Here's kind of a side view of it. You can kind of see there. Here's the phase shim. Now, you can do all different kinds of stuff. Dolce Audio sells one. This is one that Mark actually printed up and sent to me. Works really, really nice, and it allows you to do some other stuff. But I like that one. But we do have the old wood one. We've got them all. Here's kind of another side view of it. You can see that phase shim all threaded. There is different versions, like I said, of this. Okay, and then you guys were kind of wondering what we were going to do with that smaller baffle too. So we did build a smaller baffle, and what we found was, because people were telling me, you know, this baffle's too big. You know, I can't have that in my room. I don't need a bass driver. I'm happy with just a single driver, that 15-inch coaxial, you know, with a nice tweeter, with that rear firing tweeter array, you know, just very basic. So what I did is I built kind of a smaller, condensed version. This one you see here is kind of a shout out to the original Hawthorne Audio Silver Iris. That is the Silver Iris driver. It is the original Eminence tweeter, and it's actually Hawthorne Audio's crossover. And so we kind of put that all back together and to pay kind of homage to, you know, where all this started. Now, you could just throw the Dolce Audio. I don't think you could get any of that stuff anymore. So you could just put the Dolce Audio 15-inch and his tweeter on there. It's a massive upgrade from the original stuff. So here you can see the two different baffles. And what do we get when we kind of do baffles in these different ways? So what happens is, in my experience, when you make this smaller baffle, I think this one's 22 inches wide or 21 inches wide, and then it's like 32 or 34 inches tall instead of 4 feet by 2 feet, right? So you can see the difference there. You get a lot more focused soundstage. You get a lot more detail, but you lose a lot of bass. Even if you put 18-inch drivers in that small of a baffle, you do lose a lot of that bass. So I actually had these smaller baffles set up as subwoofers at one point. I'll show you a picture of that. But so you can make a nice small baffle. I took these over to Kelly's house, and he really enjoyed these baffles. He loved them, man. He was just like, man, this is the best thing I've ever heard in a long time. I mean, he was sad to let him go. And they're just super simple. I think you probably got a couple $100 in wood there. You get the La Dolce Audio 15-inch coaxial and the tweeter. You throw a cap and a choke on there and some binding posts, man, and you are in musical bliss. And you could easily integrate a nice little 10-inch subwoofer or something with them if you wanted to. Here's me, because, you know, I just got to be stupid and do everything crazy, but what we're looking at here is basically the final version of the ABX LDA baffles. In this photo, we are actually auditioning the Audial A21 Class AB amp. Just a phenomenal, I think it's about a $2,800 integrated amp. You know, you got a long wait line, just a boutique shop. I think they're out of Serbia. I can't remember the individual's name, but we had a gentleman in our Discord that was talking about how much he loved this thing, and so we got it in for review. And man, you talk about reference grade solid state amplifier. That thing is an analog dream. But we were throwing everything at these baffles. You can see we got the PrimaLuna still there. We've got the Audio. We threw the Emotiva at it. We're throwing the Orchard Audio at it. We're just hitting all this stuff up. But in this photo, you can actually see I'm using these as subwoofers. So if you look close here, you can see the edge of the driver because it's too big. It's actually hanging over the edge a little bit. And so we were just kind of messing around, experimenting with those as subwoofers. And yeah, it was getting a little bit rowdy. But dude, I'm telling you, that sounded good. There's just something about good open baffle bass that lifts the whole sound stage up. We actually took a couple sweeps. You know, we're pretty flat from about 30 hertz all the way up to about 18 hertz, you know, with these baffles. You know, nice bass down there. And then I put these subwoofer baffles in, and not only did it give a nice little shelf, a little 1.5, 2 dB shelf, and dig a little bit deeper below 30 hertz, but it also flattened out from, I think it was 4K to 18K, gave a little bump from 4K to 18K and flattened out the overall response from like 4K to 18K, and that blew me away, man. So there is a bunch of information and stuff going on in bass, and when you get bass right, a high tide rises all ships, man, and it really did. It was a beautiful result. So here's the ABX 2.0 baffles. You notice we did put the full bevel on them. Obviously auditioning them with gear, doing stuff. Here you can see that bevel that we put on there. I would like to get this bevel a little bit deeper, but I don't have the tooling to do so. I would like to have about a 1/4 inch shelf here and then flare all the way out. Would be super cool. So maybe we'll do that in a future iteration. Here we're over at Kelly's house. What we're doing here, guys, is we're kind of comparing the older Hawthorne Audio second order crossover assembly to what I built, just single order. So here you can see my crossover, and it is astounding improvement. I mean, Kelly listened to the Hawthorne Audio stuff for a few weeks, and then he switched over to, you can see now we've got all the new Dolce audio stuff in here with my custom crossover, and he was like, dude, night and day, man. It is just next level. So all of this stuff is free. If you want to build this stuff, you just go to the website and you check it out. I got everything for you there. Or you jump in our Discord and check it all out. But we've got a bunch of people building these things. Here's me. I was kind of messing around with some horns. So we're kind of, my next iteration is going to be, Terry and I from Dolce Audio are talking right now. We're probably going to run a dual 18-inch baffle with 1 or 2 horns at least, maybe a treble and a mid horn. It's probably going to be a little bit more expensive baffle, but as we come out with that, you know, if you're in our Discord watching this thing all pan out, it's all there for you. This was just the other day. We were auditioning. I mean, we've got ladder Schumann DAC here. We've got the Aries 2 here. We've got the Audial A21, the Ever Solo. We've got the Orchard Audio Pecan Pi. We've got linear power supplies. I mean, we are throwing everything at these baffles that we can. And it is just mind-boggling what these things do and how they scale up with anything you throw at them. Man, that was a fun day right there. Yeah, super cool. Yeah, Orchard Audio, Pecan Pi, Denafrips. I mean, we're putting some heavy gear. You know, we were even rotating cabling. I mean, you talk about a resolving and a dynamic speaker that lets you hear every single difference possible. I mean, we're messing around with some Pine Tree Audio, AFaudio cabling stuff. Just beautiful, beautiful cables. Yeah, so I just want to kind of show you guys kind of what we're auditioning, you know, kind of what we've been doing. Man, those AFaudio silver RCAs, phew, so good. Such a fantastic. And there's the Pine Tree Audio braided. I call them licorice. Kelly and I call them licorice because it makes you want to eat them. And the old PrimaLuna DiaLouge Premium, man. Tubes, I'm telling you what, KT88s, KT120s, through a beautiful PrimaLuna amplifier and those baffles, that is literally end game. Messing around with some different streamers and stuff here. Now I'm just showing off. Here's kind of what I was messing with the other day. I'm testing out a couple horns that Terry sent me. And I just got an old school Eminence ASD tweeter on there, just standard issue. You can pick them up off Amazon. And man, talk about opening up the soundstage and expanding that soundstage width, adding a lot of detail and nuance into the stage. It was absolutely phenomenal. But we're just kind of Frankensteining around right now. Oh, so Kelly tells me, hey, you need to order some new caps for your crossover. You guys saw the Jansen ones that I had that are like this big. He goes, yeah, order these 3.3 microfarad ones. And I ordered them from Bulgaria, I think, and they showed up and they look like a freaking smoke grenade. Look at that. It's in my hand, man. Absolutely insane. Oh, man. Too crazy. Too good. Really, really good stuff. Hey, I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update on what we're doing in the open baffle space. If you would like to be a part of this work and, you know, just experience really, really what these baffles do, I'm telling you, you spend a ton of money on audio and you talk about all this high-end stuff, and we got guys out there spending $10,000, $15,000 a speaker, and I'm here to tell you that you can really, really create some high-end, hi-fi sound, and we've got people all over the planet doing it right now for little to no money. So jump in our Discord, go check out our website. All of the designs and plans and discussions and measurements and sweeps and testimonies, they're all taking place in our Discord right now. You can find all the information for this on our website, abx-audiophiles.org. It doesn't cost you a dime. Terry over at Dolce Audio has curated these drivers and these tweeters and all of this stuff specifically for these baffles. And it is, you talk about synergy on the next level. It is really, really something special. And make sure you guys check it out. All the links will be in the description. I hope to see you in the Discord. And you guys have a fantastic day. And do not forget, we are the world's only 100% nonprofit charity reviewer. 100% of our proceeds go directly to youth musical programs. Over $4,000 donated already this year, and we've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. So be part of it. Stay tuned. Thank you. Have a great day.